So if you Google Tube Screamer clones, the Quaker Device Plumes, is definitely going to come up. It's like top 5 overdrive pedals on Reverb being sold right now. It's always like a one of the best Tube Screamer type pedals out there, which is interesting because to me this thing it's not that much like a Tube Screamer at all. I get what they're saying, but this thing does a lot of different stuff that a Tube Screamer does not, and the part of it that is Tube Screamer is very different from a Tube Screamer. So let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll do some demo back and forth. So oddly, the Tube Screamer setting on this is actually the third one. So you got 3 modes on this thing, 1, 2, and 3. The third one is the Tube Screamer-ish, which is odd. The first one, to me, is a much harsher distortion. Think of it as a heavier thing. You can make it sweeter, but if you crank this thing up, it almost turns into a fuzz. It's kind of like a blues driver in that regard. It will squash your overdrive a little bit. It'll compress the shit out of it, and it gets kind of fuzzy, and it's really nice. But it's odd that you think if that was the case on setting 1, they would have painted this thing blue, and then everybody would have gone, oh, it's a blues driver clone-ish, whatever. But I think that the word Tube Screamer clone is probably better for marketing, so they went, well, let's make it green and add some yellow to it, and everybody will go Tube Screamer. I'm pretty sure that's the thing. If you paint your pedal green, I don't care if it's like a flanger. People will go, it's Tube Screamer. You know, that's the power of branding. So, anyway, setting 1, much more fuzz heavy. Setting 2 is completely clean, right? You'd think they would have started like clean, then Tube Screamer in the middle, and then heavy fuzz on the right. Like as you get more distortion, you get, but no, they said fuck it, right out the door. Logic right out the window. So you start off with super heavy fuzz-ish, super heavy overdrive. In the middle, no overdrive, or no clipping. Nice overdrive, no clipping. This thing takes the diodes out of the equation altogether in setting 2, and it's basically like a clean boost just with the op amps that are in this pedal, and I really love that setting because that's just kind of the player I am. I go for tube distortion out of the amp, and I use the pedal to kind of shape that sound and manipulate it, and so for me, it's a great sound in the middle. I really love that. And then third, last but not least, obviously, is the actual Tube Screamer thing that they've got going on. Which, like I said, we're going to A/B this with an actual Tube Screamer and see where they're similar and where they're different. I think it's very different, but I get what they're saying with it being a Tube Screamer adjacent type of thing. But if you're looking for a clone, like a clone, this isn't it. But it's a great pedal. It's got really great sound. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to play quickly through setting 1 and setting 2 just to hear them. Just so you can get a feel for it. Obviously it's not going to sound the same to you as it is to me. I'm even going straight into the DAW and using a virtual amp, which is something I would never do for real. But just to get a feeling for how the pedal changes as the settings change. And then you should get your hands on one and play it through all your own stuff if you want to hear what it really sounds like. But then, I'm going to do that real quickly. Then I'll get to the third thing, and that's, I'm going to set it on setting 3, and we're going to A/B it with the Tube Screamer, right? The same settings all throughout. We'll go back and forth. So, anyway, let's do that. I'll get set up, and we'll get into the playing. Alright, so I'm going to go just a couple quick settings on the first mode, or the second mode, just so you can hear kind of the fuzz part and the clean part, and then I'll go into the comparison of the Tube Screamer and the Tube Screamer setting on this thing here. So here's just clean what I'm going through, the amp in the box. Right. Alright, that's that. Alright, so here's mode 1, and this is with the settings. Pretty low gain and tone right up the middle. This is kind of the more fuzz type setting on the pedal. Right? Alright, so now we're going to crank that gain up to about 1 o'clock. You hear it's getting real fuzzy. Alright, and then the gain way up. Alright, that's the real gainy fuzz. Alright, so now I'm going to reset it back down to quarter gain, so right at 9 o'clock. Tone and level the same on mode 2, and this is the clean, kind of just boosted, right? This is it without the boost. And then with the boost. And then with a little bit more gain on that, you can get a little bit more stank, even on clean. You know what I mean? Alright, so this is the Plumes. We're gonna go mode 3. So this is the Tube Screamer mode. We're gonna compare it back and forward to the real Tube Screamer and see kind of where they match up. So this is the settings. The output on this one is a little bit less than the other two modes, so got to crank up the level a little bit. But we're starting at 9 o'clock on the gain and on the tone. So I can already tell, like, the Tube Screamer, the actual Tube Screamer, is a little bit more transparent. Alright, now we're going to put the gain and the tone up to 12. We turn up the Plumes to basically 9 o'clock on the gain and on the tone, so kind of pretty much juiced, right? So my feeling is that the first two modes on that Plumes are really great. Really cool, kind of hard fuzz sound. Not hard fuzz, but hard distortion sound that leans into fuzz, and that's cool. The clean part I really like a lot. I would probably use that a ton with an overdriven amp. And the tube screamer part is different from a tube screamer, but it sounds really good too. Just two kind of different beasts. I think that, you know, for that tube screamer section of the pedal to really shine, you got to throw it into an amp and blast it, because that's kind of what a tube screamer's for. Kind of hard to do here with this, so just doing it in the box to make it even. But anyway, that's it. Take with it what you will, and I'll see you out there.